Rajasthan, India. When one hears of this exotic place, camels, dunes and oases come to mind, motorcycles rather less so. Nevertheless, the traditional brand Royal Enfield decides to present its new flagship, the Super Meteor 650, to the world's press in the middle of the vast Thar Desert. The environment in which the Indians position their A2 premium cruiser is by far not as hotly contested as the border with Pakistan, near which we are traveling. The end-to-end and, unfortunately, almost twistless highways of India's largest state serve as a playground for us to find out how well Royal Enfield's first adult cruiser can be handled. There is more than one Super Meteor. The 650 will be launched in two variants as Solo Tourer and Grand Tourer. The former will be available in 5 colors: Astral Black, Astral Blue, Astral Green, Interstellar Grey and Interstellar Green. The latter will be available in more classic designs called Celestial Red and Celestial Blue. During our days in India, we got to see them all and drive most of them as well. The version with the solo seat and the accessories that are available at extra cost turned out to be the visual favorite: luggage rack, LED turn signals and handlebar and mirrors. These give the Super Meteor a very classy appearance for an additional charge. For long distances in the saddle, there are the variants with touring seat, which offer 10 mm more seat height and significantly more space for rider and pillion, but visually also more reminiscent of the enormous king and queen seats of Japanese soft choppers of the 90s. Common to all variants is the Super Meteor's engine, which is already well known from other Royal Enfield models. The twin produces 47 horsepower and 52.3 Nm of maximum torque from 648 cubic centimeters. The redesigned engine covers and a somewhat adapted positioning in the specially developed frame are the only differences to the engine of the other 650s. Unobtrusive, yet full of character, it sounds from the reshaped mufflers when accelerating, in combination with the well-stepped 6-speed gearbox. This engine seems to suit the cruiser even better than the naked sister models. The power delivery is absolutely satisfactory, and the engine always feels a bit more powerful than the technical data on paper would suggest. The A2 engine accelerates the 241 kg cruiser to highway speeds with ease. If you're up for it, you can even read 160 km per hour on the analog speedometer. If you want to reach these speeds, the other components should also be designed accordingly. The subject of brakes offers some Royal Enfield models cause for criticism. However, the twins did not belong to this circle and the Super Meteor 650 is no exception. On paper, 2 single discs with a diameter of 320 mm at the front and 300 mm at the rear, as well as 2 piston calipers mounted axially in each case, are not expected to perform any feats, but in practice the brakes prove to be absolutely adequate and suitably dimensioned. A 2-channel ABS from Bosch does its job reliably and inconspicuously with only minimal vibrations in the lever, so there is nothing to complain about here. The verdict on the chassis is mixed. On one hand, the Super Meteor offers astonishing high-speed stability, but on the other, the stereo struts in the rear in particular do not live up to expectations of a softly damping, comfortable cruiser. One would hope for more in this respect from 101 mm of suspension travel in the rear. The 43 mm USD big piston fork from the renowned supplier Showa with 120 mm travel, which was installed in a Royal Enfield for the first time, is not adjustable, but the basic setting represents a good compromise between comfort and sportiness. All in all, I'm still glad that there are no Indian format speed swells in domestic climbs. My back wouldn't put up with that for too long. To stay in the chapter of driving dynamics, the straight line stability of the Super Meteor 650 is unparalleled, regardless of class, and a solid 1.5 meter wheelbase is probably not entirely innocent. There is plenty of time to assess this aspect on the marathon stage from Jaisalmer to Kimsar on day 2. Of the roughly 350 kilometers, it feels like 349.5 are straight ahead. This calls for a bit of creativity to test the Super Meteor's maneuverability. However, there are plenty of obstacles on the way through towns: camels, carts, children, cows. Quick reactions and courageous changes of direction were required on more than one occasion. The willingness with which the machine turned and gave me a positive outlook on the first ride in my home country, with its twists and turns and tight radius. Also, the lean angle clearance of the Super Meteor 650 seems to be sufficiently dimensioned. Even when stationary and at low speeds, the pleasantly low center of gravity of the Royal Enfield cruiser is noticeable. The centralization of the masses was a focus during development. For example, the exhaust pipes were routed as closely as possible along the rear. Even small or short-legged pilots should therefore have no problem maneuvering the 740 mm high Super Meteor. Although the 650 is the new spearhead of the model range, in our latitudes it fights for the buyer's favor in the middle class. The quality of workmanship and the appealing feel are areas in which the Super Meteor enters spheres previously unknown at Royal Enfield. With great attention to detail, such as the finely crafted emblem on the tank inspired by the first Super Meteor 700 of the 1950s, or the high quality and solid finish of the lever rails, the cruiser presents itself playfully a class above other Royal Enfield models and the competition. The new LED headlight in the front has a fascinatingly bright beam. Particularly in India, this immediately makes the Super Meteor stand out in the rearview mirror, as LED technology has barely arrived in the automotive sector here, let alone is commonplace on two-wheelers. The tail light and turn signal are the most obvious signs of the family connection to the Meteor 350. As with its little sister, the rear end is LED, while the direction indicators are equipped with conventional lights. The rest of the equipment is also familiar from the Meteor family. The instrument cluster, with analog speed display supplemented by a small LCD display with eco, gear and fuel gauges as well as 2 trip meters and a total odometer, differs from that of the 350 only in its black piano lacquer surround. The second round instrument in the cockpit houses the turn-by-turn navigation. With the associated app, the smartphone connects to the motorcycle and allows aero navigation based on Google Maps. The knobs on the left and right of the handlebars, which are used to start the engine and adjust the lights, are also familiar from the Meteor 350, but their aluminum mounts are new. The Super Meteor 650 claims to be Royal Enfield's best road touring bike. Accordingly, great attention was paid to successful ergonomics. With my height of 1.87 meters, I feel very comfortable in the saddle of the cruiser, a feeling that not every motorcycle in this class gives me. After about 4 hours and almost 200 kilometers in the saddle, I'm glad to switch to a Super Meteor with a touring seat. The standard seat brings my backside to the limits of its load capacity. The seat from the accessories is also a trump card in two-person operation. The pillion passenger has 70% more seat space available than on the standard variant. Here Royal Enfield clearly stands out from the competition in this class. Unfortunately, it is not yet known how high the maximum payload of the Super Meteor 650 is, but it would certainly offer enough space for 2 full-grown people. The knee angle for the rider is relaxed, as is typical for cruisers, and it's also easy to sit in the second row. The width of the handlebars is well chosen. The brake and clutch levers are adjustable, and the mirrors, whether the standard ones or the cool handlebar end version, offer good rearward visibility. Due to its wide design, the tank offers a good knee fit. However, the wind and weather protection is not as good for riders taller than 1.75 meters. The optional windshield offers a slot to minimize turbulence, but it is not height adjustable. As a result, the wind stream hits the helmet at an unfavorable angle for taller pilots. This results in unpleasant wind noise at higher speeds and increasing physical strain. My recommendation is therefore either to use the larger windshield from the accessories or to dispense with the windshield altogether. The Super Meteor 650's relatively shallow and wide drop tank offers 15.7 liters of fuel, so the range is definitely beyond 300 kilometers thanks to the moderate consumption. During our forced tour from Jaisalmer to Kinsar on the second day of driving, which covered about 350 kilometers, we refueled halfway for safety's sake. This would not have been necessary despite the high speed stages at the beginning of the day, but apparently we wanted to be on the safe side. Arriving at the fort above the dunes of Kinsar, we part ways. I am reluctant to leave the saddle of the cruiser for 2 reasons. First, I was very impressed by what the Royal Enfield has shown me so far, and second, there are still some things it hasn't been able to show me yet, but I really want to see, so the chances for a reunion at home are very good. In any case, the following can be said. The traditional Indian manufacturer has used proven strength and stepped up a gear with this cruiser, and not just in terms of look and feel. The pretty Super Meteor 650 is a logical addition to the portfolio and will make many buyers happy. Thank you for watching. I hope you've liked this video. For more tests and motorcycle facts, subscribe to our channel.